Going every which way, the wrong direction. That's amazing. I need to figure it out. Almost my goal, 1,000 followers. Congrats! Hello! It's Meej. Okay, long time no talk. I have been more focused on Instagram, so my bad. But I'm back. I'm producing a lot. And I am officially 3 years into ditching the American dream and building up Vietnam, which is where my family is from. I set off in 2022 to have travel adventures, to find home, become an artist, and I wrote this down in my manifestation journal, make my life my greatest work of art. Before we get into it, I want to ask you guys directly to help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers so I can monetize on YouTube by the end of this year. I started taking YouTube seriously 8 or 9 months ago and recorded everything since. So if you like what you've seen, you will not be let down. We're at 72 on November 13th, 2025. We have less than a month. Do you think we can make it? Now, I want to use this video to share more of my journey and give you a little bit of background story and then also recap the past 3 years.
Today is 23rd of December 1999. It's Megan 3 years old.
I was born and raised in SD and I absolutely loved it. I still love repping SD everywhere I go. Shout out Mission Hills, okay? Downtown Hillcrest, Mission Beach, PB. Those were my spots.
Oh, the first singer. Megan.
I didn't really have much of a Vietnamese community when I was a kid, but I still have the same best friend since then and she is Viet. There's a drawing I made in kindergarten that said, when I grow up, I want to be an artist. So I guess somehow I knew back then, even though I often forgot on that journey. Whenever I came back to Vietnam as a kid, I was pretty mid about it. If anything, I didn't like it too much because it was hot and I wasn't used to the food. I felt like I could speak Vietnamese, but everyone told me otherwise. They'd be like, "Ủa, người Việt mà không nói tiếng Việt hả?" And I'd be like, why are they saying that? I feel like I can speak. But yeah, so in America, my family lived 2 hours north of San Diego, like my extended family, in Orange County. It's like a way bigger Viet community up there. But throughout middle and high school, I still gravitated towards a more diverse friend group. I never really dated any Vietnamese person when I was in America either. I don't remember knowing any Vietnamese artists when I was young, besides my family, my whole mom's side. I wouldn't say they were like really self-proclaimed artists, they just were. So it wasn't till college when I started actively searching. I went to college in the Central Coast of California. I studied architecture at Cal Poly SLO, and I also loved that. Eva, it's so beautiful.
As one of your best friends, I can tell you that you're so beautiful.
Wow. Aww. That's so sweet.
Oh, that was captured.
I thought that's how you were saying it.
No.
I have friends up and down the coast, the West Coast in America, and all over the world, so I have a bit of home everywhere. There were so many fun years and stories from that chapter. I think getting a bachelor's in architecture happened to be more perfect for me than art would have been, even though at the time I was a bit split on that. But studying architecture made me a student of life. It made me a conscious traveler, a really good storyteller, which ended up being great for content. The metaphysics of architecture taught me how to manifest. It taught me how to look at the world through the lens of a producer rather than a consumer or a user. It just taught me how to be a more active participant in my own reality. Not to mention the travels and the friendships that I got out of studying architecture. Oh, it also wasn't until I studied abroad in Rome that I realized I was destined to travel the world or live somewhere different than where I'd grown up. even though I loved my hometowns. So another thing I loved about studying architecture was creatively expressing like who I am and who humans are, history, stories, art in terms of environments, spaces, and cities. So yeah, you can see that through my art too sometimes. I am so blessed because both of my family histories have this incredible survival and come up story, and now they're doing really well. They both actually escaped Vietnam on boats and made it into America. So they're kind of that like immigrant success story that, that model minority that a lot of people reference when they think the American dream is real. But lots to unpack about that, I also have a huge extended family and I feel like I was lucky because my parents prioritized giving me and my sister the best education they could, even when they were still coming up themselves. But despite being this blessed, I still found myself on this spiritual healing journey that I have come to see as a rite of passage for everyone having a human experience. Yeah, when I was younger, I wasn't even sure if there was a problem because on paper, I had like the poster family for the American dream. But I was a free spirit, a neurodivergent, an empath. I was already between cultures, being first generation, but then on top of that, an artist in a successful immigrant Vietnamese family in America. I mean, if you know anything about that, I internalized a lot of generational trauma and new traumas that I had to learn to heal from. And this is actually a common theme for a lot of Viet Kieu people, especially Viet Americans. Leave me a comment if you feel me, actually. So it kind of got to this point where problems, they manifested in like addictive behaviors, toxic relationships, really poor work-life balance. And it kind of got to this point where I was in one of my jobs after college and making a good amount of money. So I was traveling more again and having fun experiences, but there was a lot of things going wrong as well. Like, I was in a really abusive relationship and I had a really bad work environment for myself going on. But at the time I already had a few years of therapy, which had helped me a lot. But I remember feeling like, hey, I don't really feel like going to talk to my therapist about this again. I would like some fun, like spiritual practices that would, like I want to do something about it, you know what I mean? So I ended up finding this life coach online on Instagram, and I paid her for 8 to 12 weeks. I think I ended up extending the package later. And that kind of unleashed me in my first round of going like really hard with like spiritual practices on myself and making a change.
And starting on that karate chop point, even though I have this pattern of being addicted to the stress, addicted to the chaos, and it's making me subconsciously cause some problems for myself in my life. I choose to love and accept myself anyways.
Like I said, I started making content to share my art and memories of meaningful friendships and stories from this journey, such as these specific techniques I use to grow and manifest, because I hope to inspire people to get creative about their lives. Have a little fun with it. Make it feel good. The technique you just saw is called emotional freedom tapping, which consists of a script of affirmations to a series of tapping along these meridians of your body, which energy and emotion is said to flow.
I feel guilty for leaving my family during this busy time. I feel guilty for spending on my desires and spending on myself. I was taught to have more of a financial safety net growing up than I do right now, and that makes me feel really guilty.
I was taught to use EFT when the emotion I'm trying to process is triggered. And the script helps me feel into that emotion and integrate new beliefs to slowly rewire my subconscious programming. When I make videos with my specific EFT scripts, I'll put them here so you can see it. Yeah, in that time working with her is when I learned how to define what I want out of life, not by what I don't want, you know? So how to even know what I wanted and how to believe that I deserve that in order to even get to like what my dream is, what is gonna make my life better. So yeah.
You know what's wrong with you, Miss whoever you are? You're a chick. You've got no guts. You're afraid to stick out your chin and say, okay, life's a fact. People do fall in love. People do belong to each other. Because that's the only chance anybody's got for real happiness. You call yourself a free spirit, a wild thing. And you're terrified somebody's gonna stick you in a cage. Well, baby, you're already in that cage. You built it yourself. And it's not bounded in the west by Tulip, Texas, or on the east by Somaliland. It's wherever you go. Because no matter where you run, you just end up running into yourself.
Traveling a lot, and then that was when that desire to move somewhere else like kind of resurfaced, and I was like, hey, like in this relationship that seems to be really addictive, and like I also don't like my job very much, and I know I want to travel, and I know I want to make art more, and I know I need to heal, that I've been putting that off for a long time. So let's start putting that goal into action. I told my life coach, she helped me. I even tried out Hawaii. Like I'm really glad I didn't, because I wouldn't feel ethical moving there. But I remember in that process, my sister called me, and she was in Vietnam, and she said, Megan, you have to give it a shot. Like, just come for a month, visit me for a month. You're gonna love it. This is where our family's from, so it's different than Hawaii. Like, and things are cheaper here. Like, you can go to dance classes. I think you're really gonna love it. Also, you can meet my friends. And so I just pulled trig, and instead of going to Hawaii again that year, I bought a ticket to Vietnam. I remember my ex at the time was so upset because he had, like, yeah. This is a story for a different video. Then what happened? Yeah, then I went to Vietnam for a month, and I kid you not, I probably had the best month of my life. Like, that month in the whole following first year was more akin to what you see, like, the stereotype of the Viet Kieu experience in Vietnam. It was just like, whoa, like, so much freedom, like, so much self-discovery, like, I'm learning the language again. Also, I'm eating good food 5 meals a day, whatever I want. I can call it on Grab anywhere. Also, partying tons, all this stuff. Kind of like the honeymoon phase, but yeah, after the first month, I was like, easy, I'm here, I'm moving here. Like, not much thinking going into that. And then a job kind of fell into my lap because I was like telling my friend, he gave me a job at his architecture company. And I was like, all right, well, I'll take it. And it kind of just like, I remember when I told my sister, she was like, wait, let me process this. I can't believe you're moving here before me. Yeah, so once that month was up, I went home to America to move some stuff, even though I feel like that was just like some subconscious code for tying loose ends, because when I went back, I really didn't know what to do. I sold some things, threw away some things. I was like, shit, well, my mom could have helped me with that. I didn't really need to come back for it. But, you know, whenever you're in the transition of moving somewhere, I feel like it's kind of like meeting someone new or breaking up with someone. There's like a period where you're not really sure what your plan is. But I knew. I was like, I'm moving to Vietnam. I came home, broke up with my ex. Oh my God. That was such a messy breakup. Said goodbye to my family, my friends up and down the coast, my multi-poo soulmate, Balls. I miss her so much. We need to bring her to Vietnam this year. Then I packed my bags and came here, and I kind of knew I wanted to fix some patterns around love. And it was funny because I was connected with another artist here who was doing an exhibition in which she curated pieces on the intersection of migration, displacement, and gender violence, which sounds, too serendipitous that she found me, because the person who connected us didn't know what I was going through at the time. She just knew that I wanted to become an artist or lean more into my art journey, and that I was American. And so when we linked up, like, I just couldn't believe that, you know, she was making a connection like that. Because after much therapy and healing myself and lots of life coaching, I kind of knew I'm healing from those experiences, but there's a deeper healing going on at the same time of healing the identity and the beliefs and the experiences that made it possible for me to accept something that harmed me as love. This is actually a much longer story than I thought it was gonna be. So I don't know how much I'm gonna cut out. I might cut out some, but I'm pretty open about it. So if you wanna hear more, you should ask, because I could make like 20 videos about this instead of one. But yeah, when I moved here, I kind of knew, like, dead ass, I'm coming here because I'm gonna solve these problems. I am going to love myself. My art, my life is going to be the greatest art I've ever made because I'm the muse and I'm the artist. And I'm finally gonna be proud of being a lover girl because this is who I am. But the lover girl is really gonna be about loving herself, and whatever partnership gets blessed to come along this journey with me is just going to have to measure up to that. Another spiritual technique I love, especially as an artist, is called creative visualization. My life coach introduced me to this process when I approached her about my goals in love. The very first time I tried my hand at making a self-hypnosis audio, the imagery of my dream life just started pouring out. I think because I have good practice being creative. Once I decided I was ready to leave, not just this one dude, but this entire pattern in the past.
I bet people who judge Patrick think this is one of the reasons it's toxic.
You know what's wrong with you, miss, whoever you are?
Distracted from these things.
You're chicken.
I worked with my life coach using creative visualization to leave him by defining what it is I actually want and deserve in love. I want to make a video of the script right after this one too, so I'll add it here when I'm done. Subscribe if you want to catch
A
it.
free spirit, a wild thing. And you're terrified somebody's gonna stick you in a cage. Well, baby, you're already in that cage. You built it yourself. And it's not bounded on the west by Tulip, Texas, or on the east by Somaliland. It's wherever you go. Because no matter where you run, you just end up running into yourself.
Like I said, the first year was pretty unstable. Not emotionally unstable, but everything else was unstable. It was great. I feel like every weekend I was going somewhere here, like a different city in Vietnam, and it was so fun. I don't know if you've seen A Tourist's Guide to Love. It's a really corny rom-com about this white chick from America coming here and falling in love with a local. The only thing I really liked about that movie was the scenery in the Vietnam, traveling from city to city. It is really how I experienced it as well. Just like gorgeous. Also a different personality and vibe in each one. I still have much more to go. I have tons of stories to tell, honestly. But if I had to squeeze it into a couple sentences to wrap this one up, I'd say for the first year, I expanded my home to Vietnam and I started living here on my own terms, kind of for the first time in my life. The second year, I traveled internationally and defined my career, or what I felt like my purpose was. And then this third year is all about rooting and building that. And that leads us here to my art studio, where after this I will be working on a painting. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this. I'm super grateful. I'm already working on the next one, so you're not gonna regret it if you subscribe. I love you guys. Have a good one.